A fresh wave of violence has reportedly hit Ignatius Ajuru University of Education in Rivers State, where a 100-level student was allegedly shot on campus by suspected cultists just 48 hours after rival cult groups were said to have engaged in a shooting spree at the institution. The latest incident has raised serious concern about the safety of students and staff at the university, particularly after Monday's reported clash between suspected members of the Vikings and the Ku Klux Klan cult group. According to Punch Metro, details surrounding Wednesday's shooting remained sketchy at the time of reporting. The victim, whose identity has not been disclosed, was reportedly shot on campus and later rushed to a hospital for treatment. A source close to the victim said doctors were trying to remove bullet pellets lodged in his body and that his friends were reportedly contributing money to raise funds for the surgery. The source said his close friends were contributing money to raise funds for the surgery to happen. The circumstances surrounding the shooting remains unclear. Most importantly, it has not been independently established whether the student was a member of any cult group or whether he was simply caught up in violence. That distinction matters. In an environment where rival groups are allegedly engaged in a supremacy battle, students who have no connection to cult activity can potentially become victims of violence simply because they happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. A video circulating online reportedly showed the injured student lying on the hospital bed before being carried into the university campus by his classmates. The disturbing images have added to the anxiety already gripping the institution following Monday's violence. The earlier incident reportedly involved suspected members of the two rival cult groups identified as the Vikings and the Ku Klux Klan. The confrontation allegedly involved gunfire and created tension within the university community. The Rivers State Police Command confirmed the earlier clash and said an investigation had commenced. But by Wednesday, another shooting had reportedly occurred. That raised an uncomfortable question. If security agencies were already investigating a violent clash between suspected cult groups, how did another shooting allegedly take place on the same campus just 2 days later? The answer will depend on what investigators uncover. The police have not publicly established the motive behind Wednesday's shooting, nor have authorities confirmed whether it was directly connected to Monday's confrontation. The spokesperson for the Rivers State Police Command, Blessing Agabe, reportedly confirmed that she had seen the viral video showing the injured students. She said she would obtain further information from the divisional police officer responsible for the area and provide an update. However, no further response had been received as of Wednesday evening. That leaves several important questions unanswered. Who shot the students? Was the shooting connected to the earlier cult clash? Was the victim targeted deliberately? Were other students in danger? And are members of the rival groups still operating inside or around the university? These questions are critical because universities are supposed to be places where young people can study without fear of being caught in armed violence. A campus should not become a battleground for rival criminal groups. Students should not have to worry about gunfire while attending lectures. And parents should not have to wonder whether their children are safe after sending them to university. The timing of the latest shooting has therefore placed additional pressure on university management. In response to the security concern, management suspended all remaining activities of the Student Union Government Week with immediate effect. Students were instructed to return to their classrooms on Thursday, August 13, 2026 for normal academic activities. The university also warned students that anyone who failed to attend lectures would be held responsible for their actions. Management further urged students to avoid activities capable of undermining their academic pursuits or threatening peace and security on campus. The decision to suspend the remaining Student Union Government Week activities is significant. Such programs are normally intended to provide students with opportunities for engagement, leadership, and social interaction. But when violence erupts during or around such events, university authorities have to balance student activities against security concerns. The suspension, therefore, appears designed to reduce opportunities for further confrontation while allowing academic activities to continue. Yet, returning students to classroom alone will not solve the underlying problem if cult-related violence is genuinely taking place on campus. Security must be strengthened. Students need to feel protected, and anyone found to be involved in armed violence must face the consequences of the law. The authorities also need to establish whether these incidents are isolated or part of the broader cult-related problem within the institution. If rival groups are fighting for supremacy, allowing them to operate unchecked could lead to more serious violence. Today's victim may be one student. Tomorrow, the number could be much higher. That is the fear hanging over the university community. There is also the issue of information. Because the latest shooting is still under investigation, authorities must avoid rushing to conclusion about the victim or the attackers. The fact that a student was allegedly shot does not prove that he was a cult member. Likewise, the presence of suspected cult groups on campus does not automatically establish that they were responsible for every violent incident. Investigators must determine the facts, but while investigations continue, the priority must remain the safety of students. The university cannot afford to allow fear to become part of everyday academic life. Parents sending their children to Ignatius Ajuri University of Education expect them to return home with degrees and not injuries from gunfire. Students should be worrying about examinations, assignments, and their future careers, not whether rival groups might turn a campus event into a shooting ground. The latest incident is therefore more than a single shooting. It is a warning. If cult violence is allowed to spread within educational institutions, the consequences can be devastating. One confrontation can trigger another. One shooting can create retaliation, and retaliation can produce a cycle that becomes increasingly difficult to control. For now, the identity of the shooter remains unknown. The motive has not been established, and the victim's condition remains a matter of concern. But the message from university management is already clear. Student activities have been suspended, and students are being ordered back to academic work. The bigger responsibility now lies within the security agencies. They must determine who fired the shots, establish whether the incident is connected to Monday's clash, and ensure those responsible are brought to justice. Because a university campus should be a place where young Nigerians prepare for their future. It should never become a battlefield where students have to run from bullets. I'm Chimezrim Okoro, and thanks for watching.